What's up, everybody? I'm Mckenty. This is my second channel, and this is your home for my Twitch highlights and my podcast. So if you like this and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, this is the new song by Sigrid featuring Bring Me the Horizon called Bad Life. I don't actually know anything about her. I assume she's a pop singer. I haven't listened to this yet. But what I will say is that I really like all the features that Oli has been doing. He did the one with Daine. He did something with Jeris Johnson. He did one with Ice Peak, obviously with Ed Sheeran and with MGK. Now, whether you like any of those or not, what I think is cool is just this like spirit of collaboration, because, you know, these days collabs are one of the main ways that people find out about music. Features, having collabs with other artists and other genres, like that's sort of one of the ways that you stay or become relevant as an artist these days, right? Like, how many artists now break because they had some feature? You know, if you get a Drake feature, that's like a signifier that you've reached the next level, right? I really like that. And I like that it's from all over the genre, you know, with artists. Some are big, some are smaller, just kind of really all over the place. Now, I don't know this one, but let's check it out.
Damaged, a little depressed. Every now and then we get that feeling in our chest.
I'm going to listen to that again. I like this line. And I really like this kind of pop stuff that's coming out these days, sort of like Numb Little Bug and WTF. This sort of like, it is pop, but it's dark. And they're talking about, you know, these pretty serious topics like mental health and stuff.
Every now and then we get that feeling in our chest.
Great lyrics. You guys know that I care a lot about lyrics and vocals. And like that is just opening with just fire.
I fake it smiling, fall apart, and no one ever knows I'm a wreck.
I do not know who this girl is, but she has a really fucking good voice. This is solid. Spotify is calling this genre Alt Z. Okay, that's good to know. Let's look it up. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I like a lot of this shit. I like a lot of this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna follow this one. Depressed pop for youngsters. Yes. From the chat here, it says that piano you're listening to is Jordan playing. So one thing that's interesting is that a lot of the features that say, you know, Bring Me the Horizon are really just Oli, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because to most people, the vocalist is synonymous with the band, right? But I do think it's cool when it can be more than that. And it sounds like this is an example of, you know, Jordan being a big part of this as well.
Everything's backwards, and I'm hanging on. No matter how hard I try, I always come undone.
This song is such a natural fit for Oli and his voice and just sort of the place and culture that Bring Me the Horizon occupies, right? Sort of like, you know, it's pop, but it's not pop. It's like, you know, it's edgy, but it's not like death metal. So this makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, it's hard to find a place to hide when you're running from what's inside. 'Cause I'm my own worst enemy, and I don't wanna fight anymore.
These are good lyrics. You know, I'm glad that I'm not at this place in my life anymore, but kind of reminds me of, you know, the Lil Lotus song Never Get Away. You know, that feeling, he said, like, I don't want to fight anymore. If you've ever dealt with depression or anything like that, you know that feeling. You're just like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this shit. Like, I give up. I don't want to fight anymore. But what choice do you have? You know, it's either give in or keep fighting, even when you don't feel like it. And, you know, I hope that if you're listening to this, you don't identify with it, but I think a lot of people do. And these kind of lyrics, they matter. You know, this is the kind of lyrics that really touch people.
When the world is on your shoulders.
Okay, it sounds like the rest of the band is coming in now with the drums and the guitars and everything. So this really is Sigrid featuring Bring Me the Horizon. It's not just Oli.
And the weight of your own heart is too much.
Exactly. The feeling where you think it's going to be that way forever. It's horrible. I remember thinking that many times, like, man, if I'm going to feel this way forever, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can handle living the rest of my life this way. You know, unfortunately, I feel better now than I used to, but it's real. And these are the kind of lyrics that really do touch people. There's a reason why Bring the Horizon and why some of these artists get the kind of traction. Youngblood is another example of that. When you have lyrics that are real, people can tell. This song makes me want to roll the windows down and drive past some cornfields crying. Even when you can relate to it, what does it actually do? It doesn't change anything. That's true too. Well, we haven't listened to the whole song yet, but I think that's true. It's a good point. You know, there's a fine line between listening to something you can relate to in a cathartic way that sort of helps you get through it, And then sometimes it can be just wallowing in those feelings, which is not healthy. And that's a good point. You know, there's a fine line between those two things.
It's just a bad day, not a bad life. And I know it feels
There we go. So this is where it gets a little bit more hopeful. It's just a bad day, not a bad life.
so. I wrote this song to say things won't always be this way.
So I wrote this song to say things won't always be this way. You know, if you're older, and you're in a good place in life, you're not going to identify with this, and that's okay. And even though I am not in that place anymore, I never forgot what it feels like to be there. And sometimes that's what you need to hear, especially when you're a kid. You know, imagine you're in high school, right? And maybe you have a family that's not very supportive or understanding of like mental health issues or being, you know, neurodivergent or whatever, and you don't have anybody you can talk to about this. Sometimes hearing something like that, hearing someone like Oli Sykes say, I wrote this song to tell you that everything's going to be okay, that it's not always going to feel this way, that legitimately could help you.
It's just a bad day, not a bad life.
That's actually a really fucking good message, because whoever said that in the chat before, you know, I have the same thoughts of sometimes I do wonder, man, this depressed pop stuff is cool and relatable, but are they wallowing in it? And what I like about this is this has turned the corner to be a hopeful song, and I think that's really important.
World is on your shoulders, and the weight of your own heart is too much.
But even hopeful songs can only do so much, aka virtually nothing. I hear you. I mean, listening to music is not going to like cure your depression, right? But I think it's a little bit negative and a little bit defeatist to sort of say that it can't help at all, because I think if you're watching this, there probably is a song you listen to that probably did help you. Maybe if you're one of these metal people that all you care about is riffs, maybe that's not true. But I think a lot of people would say that there are songs that did help them a lot. And, you know, listening to this as someone in your 30s or whatever, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe it's a little bit corny, but again, I think the audience for this is, you know, teenagers.
It's just a bad day, not a bad life.
This is true too. A punk song may never change the world, but I can tell you about a couple that changed me. I think that's a great way to put it. It can make you feel better for a minute, and a minute outside your negative mindset is such a relief. That's a great way to put it. You know, sometimes all you just need is just a little nudge just to make you feel better for a minute. And maybe that's the difference between like taking a deep breath and getting on with your day. Being like, all right, I guess it's not that bad. You know, maybe just that little nudge. Maybe that's all you need. With depression, it's often about taking it day by day, and hearing a song like this might be what someone needs to get through the day. Sometimes it's hour by hour or even minute by minute. You know, when you're really in a bad spot, sometimes it's minute by minute, and sometimes hearing the right thing from the right person is going to help you get through that.
Bad day, not a bad life.
Momentum can be massively important when it comes to mental health and depression, so a little nudge can go a long way. I agree. But when does it become romanticism? Not saying this is, but some songs definitely feel like they're doing just that, especially in the pop punk sphere. I agree with that. That's true too. Who's to say? I don't know. But I think these are good topics. Good things to think about.
Yeah, it's just a bad day, not a bad life.
Good stuff, man. I was not really expecting to like this. What I was expecting is that this would be Oli sort of doing one verse in a pop song with some artist, you know, where it was like, you know, maybe driven more by marketing than by the merits of the song, which is fine. But it actually ended up being a lot more than that. I think this is a really fucking good song. I'm a fan. To me, this is the feature that I like more than anything he's done in quite a long time, or that the band is, well, I should back up because it's not just Oli. I will say that of all the collabs and features that they have done in the past year or so, I would say this one's my favorite. Really good stuff. I'm going to look her up too. That's a fucking good song. So shout out to Oli and Breathing Horizon and Sigrid for doing Bad Life. That's a fucking good song. I'm into it.